The former Director of Communication, Chris Obole, and co-accused applied for bail in High Court. Chris Obole and co-accused are facing offences of embezzlement, causing financial loss, and money laundering. The accused before Judge Mike Rubu in the Anti-Corruption High Court directed the applicants to file written submissions by August 7, 2026, and the Inspectorate of Government to respond on 14th August 2026, and the rejoinders, if any, to be filed on 9th August 2026. Chris Obore presented a certificate of his land title in Mukedia and the evaluation report for his residence in Mukono. Obore presented 5 sureties: his sister Jennifer Ogwara, Bukedia Member of Parliament, David Okware Bichema, Bukedia LC5 Chairperson, Simon Ongura, Kampala Capital Store Authority Outdoor Advertising Manager, Ibrahim Ogarama, and Andrew Kilala, a lecturer at Makerere University Business School. Among those who stood sureties for methods Mulebe include Lubabo County Member of Parliament, Matthias Mwesigwa, and Lukunjiri Woman Member of Parliament, Mary Paula Triahi Kayoke Birungi, among other sureties. Other suspects also presented grounds and sureties to court, although prosecution led by Daisy Asio opposed all the applications. The prosecution also challenged some of the documents presented in support of the application, arguing that Muleba Method's land title contained unclear encumbrances and cautioned the suitability of some of the proposed sureties.
As a director of communications,
the state told court that Mulebe Methods remains Chief Executive Officer of the Parliamentary Circle, despite the charges against him.
Yes, so
Justice Michael Rubu has reserved his ruling on 9th August 2026. Meanwhile, General Edward Katumba Wamala has testified in the murder case of his daughter Brenda Nantongo and his driver Haruna Kayondo. General Edward Katumba Wamala narrated to court what happened to him on the fateful day in Chanja when they were attacked by armed men on 1st June 2021.
Okay, so what is your current position that you hold?
I'm now the Minister of Public Service.
Yeah, I'll take you a step back. What position did you hold in the year 2021?
In the year 2021, I was the Minister of Works, Minister of State for Works. Before I became a full minister.
Were you based in the country?
Yes, my Lord, I was based in the country, specifically in Kampala.
Yeah, so I want to take you to the month of June of that year, 2021. Were you in Kampala?
Yes, my Lord, I was in Kampala.
Do you remember the incidents that happened to you in that month?
Yes, my Lord, I vividly still remember.
Yes, please go ahead and tell court, General.
On the 31st of May, I lost my mother-in-law at a place called Najana Nkumbi.
That is 2021.
That's 2021. Early morning, on the 1st of June, I left my home in Nigeria at around 8:25, 8:30. I was heading to Najana Nkumbi, AM. I was heading to Najana Nkumbi to arrange the burial of my late mother-in-law. I was traveling in a vehicle, a military Land Cruiser.
General, you slow down a bit. The interpreters are taking notes.
I left in a vehicle, a military Land Cruiser. With the one bodyguard, the driver, and my daughter, the late Brenda Nanton.
General, do you recall the name of the bodyguard that you moved with that day?
The bodyguard I was with was, at that time, at the rank of a Sergeant Khalid.
Sergeant who?
Khalid. Oh boy.
Khalid.
Khalid.
The other name?
Koboit, I think. Koboit. And the driver was Kayondo, the late.
Jana nkumbi lugana kuroso matairisho cha dofunu te mama te Maria tai asa bakanana ana kanjidoro fi gari te jeshi.
That morning?
Yes, my road was H4 DO 2138.
All right.
Can you repeat it?
It was H4 DO 2138. My lord, for an update, the sergeant who was my escort is now a lieutenant. Correction, my lord, it was DF, not DO. DF, Defense Forces.
EF.
DF. On leaving home, my lord, we left Gravida Road, joined Kulambiro Road, and we drove on Kulambiro Road to head towards Kisasi. And then we joined Kisota Road. After crossing that road of Chanja, which leads to Chanja Town Council. My lord, Kisota Road is a highly built road on both sides. We drove for a very short time, I think less than 10 minutes. The number of humps, but on the first hump, shots started ringing out.
What do you mean by shots, General?
Gunshots.
Okay.
However, at first, I had not fully taken in that they were gunshots. I thought maybe they were, but there was the border had crashed into our vehicle. But soon, it dawned on me that these were gunshots coming in from behind and on the right-hand side.
Let's proceed.
At that time, my lord, the shooting was both from behind and on the side. I was seated on the left-hand side of the vehicle, with my escort also on the left-hand side. My driver, of course, was on the driving seat on the right, together with my late daughter, who was seated behind him. When the shots came in from behind and also on the side, from behind and the side, the first victim who took the shots was my daughter. And I heard her shout, "Jesus!" And she fell on my lap, breathing.
Ogwa kono ne bodyguard wange yali ku mukono gwa kono era driver ne muwala wange bo bali ku mukono gwa ddyo era eyasooka
Coding there from the interpreter because I hear both the languages. The shots were coming from behind and on the right-hand side, not from all sides.
okutereezaamu.
Just a short distance, the vehicle stopped and it leaned on the left-hand side where there was a perimeter wall. I realized that my driver could no longer move the vehicle, and I saw his head drop. I called on my escort and I said, "Kari, get that rifle, get out and respond, because I could see one of the assailants in front of the vehicle, seated with his face facing us, facing the vehicle, the back on the side, on the border, but like I don't know how to explain it, but he was seated back to the rider with the face facing now our vehicle."
So are you saying he was seated on a motorcycle? All right. All right, my lord.
I saw one of the assailants who was hooded with a rifle, seated on the border. Pardon? He was seated on the border with his back to the rider, him facing at the rear of the border, in effect facing our vehicle, which had now stopped. At that time, I instructed my bodyguard to pick the rifle and try to engage the assailant. At that time, I put my left hand up on the front seat to try and squeeze myself out of the vehicle also. And that's when my left hand was shattered. The right hand, the bullet didn't go far deep into the bones. Throughout that time, I never lost consciousness. I was very conscious. So I was evacuated to Medipal Hospital.
General Edward Katumba Amala added that during the shooting, his daughter Brenda Nantongo and driver Haruna Kayondo lost their lives.
My lord, at that time, I'd already been shot in the right hand and was bleeding. My bodyguard squeezed out of the vehicle. I put up my left hand to gain stability and also tried to squeeze out of the vehicle from the back seat.
What do you mean your bullet was
It got out of the vehicle because, as I said, the vehicle had leaned close to the wall. So he had to squeeze himself out of the vehicle with the rifle. At that time, I put my left hand up on the front seat to try and squeeze myself out of the vehicle also. And that's when my left hand was shattered. That's when it was shot and shattered. Shot both arms, but the left one, the one which was shattered, the right hand, the bullet didn't go far deep into the bones.
Originally, it was your right hand which was shot.
Yeah, first was my right hand which was shot.
Which part?
Here on the shoulder. Yes. Bodyguard to get out, he picked his rifle and squeezed himself out of the vehicle from the front. As I said, at that time, already my right hand had been shot with a bullet lodged. And when I saw my escort had got out, I also put my left hand at the front seat to support myself to also pull out of the vehicle. And at that time, that's when my left hand was also shot, and for it was the hand was fully shattered.
Then you said your left arm was shattered. Which parts of the left arm was injured?
It was the shoulder. The shoulder.
All right. Okay, so what happened next? Which part of the left arm was injured?
The one that was shattered.
Yes.
It was the shoulder, my lord.
Yes, what happened next, General?
I squeezed out of the vehicle, dropped down.
Where did you pass?
I used the right hand, which was not highly injured.
No. Which part of the car did you pass?
The left hand, because I was seated on the
Which
left
part
hand.
of the car? You used the left side of the
The
car.
left hand side of the car, between the car and the wall.
Go ahead.
So I squeezed out, dropped down and rolled back on the rear tire. And I was also joined by the bodyguard at the rear of the vehicle, down.
Technically, the right or left?
The left.
Yes. What followed when your bodyguard joined you down?
We both lied down there, and from underneath the vehicle, we could see the front. And we saw that the assailant, who was on the border, was still attempting possibly to come back to the vehicle.
Let's repeat that.
Where we were lying down behind the vehicle, we could see through the underneath of the vehicle, the front, that the assailant, who was seated on the border, was actually trying to come back to the vehicle. My bodyguard to continue engaging the assailant. But I think from the awkward position where he was, he would not take and aim the shot.
Actually started engaging.
When he fell out,
When he got out, when he squeezed
I couldn't tell whether he was engaging because it was really a survival mode. I could not tell whether he was engaging, but I told him to engage at that time when I saw that assailant wanting to come back. After a few shots, the assailant who was trying to come back actually sped off on the border.
Direction? He sped off which direction?
Sped off towards the junction between Kisota and the Exas Road,
All right.
heading towards Bukoto.
Oluvannyuma
He also told court that since those who shoot them were putting on masks, it wasn't easy to identify them.
Yes, you know?
My lord, at that time, my bodyguard said, "We cannot stay here." He got me on the right-hand side. It was still okay. And we moved off from the scene. Moved to the right.
So you're saying he held your right hand?
Yes, the one which was not highly shuttered.
And you moved where?
Moved to the right of the road, away from the scene. And we chanced on an abandoned chicken house. My bodyguard said, "You stay here, let me go back to the scene to secure whatever was in the car."
Had the shooting stopped?
Yes, my lord, the shooting had stopped. And when I entered that place, I realized I was breathing heavily. And I got scared that I would breathe to death. So immediately, I followed back my escort because I could not hear any more shots. I followed back the escort to the scene of crime. Returned to the scene, a crowd had gathered. And actually, as I was leaving the chicken house, there was a border guy, man who came and said, "Oh no, when I found him money, I know this Afandi." I went back to the scene and I found a very big crowd which had gathered at that time. With so many border riders. At that time, when I arrived there, the border people came and they said, "Let's take you to hospital." In Uganda, Fandi katutwale mudwaliro. I hesitated because the silence on borders. So I was not sure whether these borders meant well. However, one of them insisted and said, Afande, Nesiga, trust me. Tula border, sit on the border, I take you to the hospital. Border man, a gentleman, I came to learn his name as Kauchi. I sat on the border. My escort was not convinced that I could go alone. He sat behind me and held me from behind, and we rode to the Malcolm Hospital, which is on that road coming from Chanja towards Mtinda. It's on the roadside, on the right. If you are going to Chanja, it's on the right-hand side from Mtinda. I know that Malcolm, I got what we call the first aid. They stopped the breathing, put on some IV to stabilize my condition. And by then, the message had gone around, and many military and other officers had conveyed at Malcolm, where I was. After being stabilized, the military medical team recommended that I be evacuated. My Lord, throughout that time, I never lost consciousness. I was very conscious. So I was evacuated to Medipal Hospital on Babiha Avenue, which is normally called Acacia Avenue, for further management.
Yes.
I was admitted in medical hospital where further operations were done. They tried to add more to what Malcolm had done, because Malcolm did not have, I think, a lot of equipment and surgery facilities. So
conducted surgery.
Yes, at Medipol they removed the bullet which had lodged in the right-hand side. That was the first they did. Then the father attended to the left arm, which was not a conclusive operation. The operation was not conclusive, my lord.
On the other side.
The left hand.
On the left hand.
No, the first time they did some
Successful removal
of the bullet which was lodged in the right hand.
Was it at
medical.
I don't know.
It's at medical.
Well, what they did was to immobilize the arm, and they put a metal in there which they screwed in to enable me, one, to attend the burial of my daughter, which was on the 3rd, and also attend the burial of my mother-in-law, which was on the 5th of June. The 3rd of June, my lord.
After the surgery?
My lord, that is what I can state. On the 1st and 2nd up to the 3rd, the treatment for the left hand continued from Medipal. We had another session at Ruby Hospital on Lugogo bypass, but still the operation was not conclusive, and I was referred to further management, and that's when I was referred to go to the States in Emory Hospital, which is a specialist hospital for such kind of bullet injuries, where my arm was fixed.
So kindly repeat. Where the treatment continued?
The treatment after the second, when the burial ended, I continued with the treatment at Ruby Hospital on Lugogo bypass. However, I realized that these treatments were not conclusive until I got advice to seek further management. So I sought further management in the hospital called Emory in Atlanta, Emory, E-M-O-R-Y. E-M-O-R-Y. In Atlanta, Georgia, USA. And that's where the final operation was conducted.
All right, I want to take you back to the scene.
On the treatment, the screws which had been used to put the metal plate had all fallen out. So the pain was so much that I was advised that I better get speedier attention than what I was getting. It's not that I thought.
About how many assailants did you see that day?
But that's a very difficult question because in that situation, it was very difficult for me to see the side. But at least I'm very sure I saw the one who was in the front. My escort later told me there was another one behind whom, when he got out and started firing, that one turned and went back. But for me, as Katumba, I saw the one who was in the front.
All right, and then were you able to observe the kind of weapon he was using?
Yes, my lord, it was an AK-47. It's a common weapon within the region.
Kaseera ako kyali kizibu.
What happened to your driver?
My lord, my driver, as I said, died and was buried at his home in Masaka.
And finally, General, what impact has this incident had on your life?
Well, the incident of that day changed a lot of my way of life. I was a very free person. From then until now, of course, I'm scared for life. I'm protective. I'm not so outgoing again as I was before. But one thing I've noticed, which has not happened to me, is to hate people. I still love people because there are a few bad people, but the majority of people are good people. So I still love people, but it has changed my way of life and the way I look at things. Then the burial of my driver, because he was a Muslim, and was buried the next day, and I was still in hospital. But we look after the children. Well, after the operation in Emory, my arm, the left arm, I think I can use it about 60%. There are things I can't do with the left arm because of the limited mobility of the arm. But at least what was fixed in is still holding, and every 6 months I check with the X-ray and scan, and the whatever was fixed is still in place. So my arm of the left, I can only use it about 65%.
You say, when you say that the area around Soda is highly controlled, what do you mean?
My lord, it's a narrow street. It has buildings both on the right hand side, and on the left hand side. It's a narrow street.
Building on both sides.
Yes, sir. Yes, my lord.
And you said there's one of the border people who said, I know they are funded. Did you know him?
My lord, I didn't.
You say that you saw one of the signals, the one who was getting close. Are you able to identify him? Do you know him? Did you saw the face?
My lord, I cannot identify the face because, first of all, as I said, he was wounded. I could only tell the structure, maybe, but not the face. And in that heat of things, it was very difficult to focus on identifying the subject.
But there is not ability or exercise or.
No, it was a middle body, not my size, something smaller than.
You said we look after the children. Who is we? When you said we look after the children of the driver, who is we?
The family,
Your family.
my family.
Who's your family?
We're together at the army. There are things the army does and there are things we do for the family.
Did you realize that your driver and your daughter had died?
My lord, when my daughter fell on my lap with that cry of Jesus and she was not moving, plus all the bullets which had run out, I knew she was no more. My driver, I saw as I was squeezing out of the vehicle that his head had fallen on the side and was immobile. It was still. So it just dawned on me that he was also dead. I checked again on my daughter and the driver, and the confirmation was there that they were gone.
Thank you so much, General Katumba, for assisting the court with your testimony.
Thank you, my lord.
Court has adjourned the matter to tomorrow, 4th August 2026, for further hearing of the case. The case is presided over by Justice Dr. Winfred Navisinde, Justice Vincent Wagona, Justice Richard Wawire Wejure, and Justice Susan Okalanyi.
Aye oluvannyuma namala n'akizuula nti gaali masasi na gaali gali